So if you were on my live the other day, you saw that a few people were asking me to do certain lists, including this one, which is top 5 fragrances from my collection that I think are underrated. I've actually been thinking about this for quite a while, so in this video I'm going to give you 5 designer fragrances that I think are underrated, whether it's on social media or just by sales or anything like that. So without further ado, let's get it. Alright my great smelling dudes, welcome back to my channel. This is Randy, aka Fragrance Dude, back with another fragrance video. Thank you so much for joining me again. Before I get into the video, as always, like, comment, subscribe, and hit the bell for future notification. It always gets my videos to you first, and it helps out my channel. So again, thank you guys so much. Again, in this video, we were on the live the other day, and somebody said, can you name 5 underrated frags that are for men? And I said, I already had the idea to do that. I was speaking with my wife and we were trying to come up with ideas for fragrance videos, and that was one that came up because there are a few fragrances that I always say this is highly underrated. I watch videos, whether they be on YouTube or TikTok or Instagram, people saying either bad things about these fragrances, they don't talk about them a lot, or they think that other fragrances in the same lines are better. So in this video, again, I'm doing 5 fragrances that are designers that I feel are underrated. Prada Luna Rossa Ocean. I'm saying that, and I was actually one of the people that was underrating it, pretty much the entire Prada line. But this one, when you first spray it on, it does feel a bit dated, so a lot of people just go, meh, nope. And so for the first like 5 minutes, it feels like a dated bluish fragrance, kind of deeper, darker, a little bit citrusy, but it's whenever this hits that iris part of the fragrance where it turns into a, almost if you took Prada Lhomme and turned it into a blue fragrance, it's like that traditional blue, and then you get that like ambery quality, you get that freshness, that citrusy quality, and then you mix that with iris. Put that all together, it's soapy, it's fresh, it's clean, it's blue, it's very nice. It's one that I think is definitely underrated. And the second one was released this year by Hugo Boss. It is Boss Bottled Marine, limited edition. This fragrance, the main notes, you get like some frosted apple, some clary sage. The opening, like 20 minutes, 30 minutes, is probably the best opening of the year. It's sweet, it's juicy, it's fantastic. It's one you definitely need to get your nose on. I actually wish I would have wore this today, not Valentino Yellow Dream, because I love it. I'm actually doing a buying guide, or I just did a buying guide that I released on my channel a few days ago about this one. I got this about 7 or 8 months ago, and as soon as I smelled it, I really loved it. A lot of people hated it, especially the bigger channels. This is by Valentino. It's Valentino Yellow Dream, or Valentino Uomo Born in Roma Yellow Dream, but that's more of a mouthful than Yellow Dream. So Yellow Dream is amazing, actually. It is a fragrance that can be worn in the fall and winter, although I also think you can wear it in the spring and summer. Compared to the other fragrances in the line, it has a bit of this lightness, but with that said, I'm going to give you a few of the notes that you can pull from this fragrance so you can understand it better. Some of the notes are gingerbread, pineapple, sandalwood, and vanilla. So this, to me, I don't like the way that it's advertised, like the different words, the descriptors. For me, it's more of a sweet, oriental spicy fragrance. And so whenever you first spray this on, I'm actually going to wear this as my scent of the day. I really like it. And it's cool outside. It's like 60 degrees, so I think it's perfect time. So Valentino Uomo Yellow Dream, whenever you first spray it on, you get hit right in the face with a nice wallop of pineapple. It's not like a pineapple you would get in Creed Aventus or anything like that. It's more of like that sweet, juicy pineapple, and it mixes together with like an oriental spicy fragrance. You get also an odd note of gingerbread in there, but it more along the lines comes across as like ginger and cloves to add some like added spice. You also do get some cinnamon in there, but for the most part, in the opening, you get that pineapple, you get that spice, and then you get a slight amount of vanilla in there to give it a bit of this sweetness. That vanilla does play a major role in the dry down. So once you get into the dry down, that is where the ginger really kicks in. That is where you also get the vanilla pulling up. It's called Vanilla Absolute, I believe. And then you also get a nice aromatic, woody, creamy sandalwood coming in. So the pineapple, once you get to the base, does dissipate a bit. And then that's where the vanilla comes in as that sweet creaminess, mixing with that woody sandalwood that has a bit of creaminess to it as well. Mixing together with that pineapple, I call it like a spicy, creamy pineapple vanilla. That is really what this fragrance is. Some people do get a little bit more of the spice than they do the sweetness. But this is one of my wife's favorite fragrances. I told you that in the video that I did a few months back. And it's going to continue to be. I absolutely love the fragrance. If you like sweet, semi-gourmand fragrances that have a bit of a spice to it, definitely try this out. It lasts about 6 to 7 hours on your skin while projecting above average for the first 3. That's pineapple yellow. That's a Valentino Yellow Dream. So the next one on my list is going to be, because the line is so mass produced and mass hyped everywhere. Everybody usually loves it. It's one of the main fragrances out there, except for in the line, this one was kind of looked over and people said that it was basic or whatnot. And honestly, to me, it's the best in the line by Armani. It is Acqua Di Gio Absolu. So you have your original Acqua Di Gio. You guys know it's that mineral citrus. Everybody knows it. Then you have the new Acqua Di Gio Eau de Parfum, which I don't understand the hype. I think it's just a modern take and more citrusy take on the original, but with a funky smell. Then you have Profondo, which is a great daytime, more modern, citrusy, green version of the original. Then you have Profondo Lights, which adds even more green and a little bit more of a lightness to the Profondo. Then you have Profumo, which is your modern, classic, more luxurious nighttime fragrance that gives you that bit more of that maturity aspect. Then you have this one. It's the one that all of the rest of them have that Acqua Di Gio DNA. You know it's an Acqua Di Gio. This one dials that DNA almost to where it's non-existent. To me, the best way to explain this fragrance is it's pretty much a warmer, amberier take on Rossa Hawas or Invictus Aqua. Some of the main notes that you do get in this, I'll give you that first, are C notes, grapefruit, amberwood, and lavender. It's an aromatic citrus, fruity amber fragrance. And so when you first spray this on, you get those C notes, that watery aquatic. You also get some of those citruses, that grapefruit, bergamot. It gives a little bit of that citrusy sweetness mixed with those watery notes, those C notes. Just like the other ones I mentioned, Rossa Hawas, Invictus Aqua. But it's where the dry down, about 20 minutes into the fragrance, is where it really sets itself apart. You get that warm, you get some tonka bean in there, and then you also get amberwood that gives it this warm sweetness. It gives it this depth, this richness that you don't get from the other ones I mentioned, which makes it a really nice, watery aquatic, warm, ambery fragrance that you get that has a little bit of this woodiness to it. Great for date nights. My wife, this is one of her favorite fragrances. I remember the other night I was wearing it, and she said, "What are you wearing? That smells amazing." So Acqua Di Gio Absolu, if you're looking for a nice take on the Acqua Di Gio line, but dialing down that DNA and adding in some of that ambery sweetness as a watery aquatic, that would be something that you would need to get your hands on. That's Acqua Di Gio Absolu. Now moving on to a very unique fragrance. Actually, the next two are super unique. This one has kind of been overlooked, except for people in the fragrance community, and even then, a lot of people talk about it, but they never buy it because of the brand name. Some people see the brand as cheaper, but I actually really like Lacoste. This is by Lacoste. It is Lacoste Lhomme Intense. If you guys don't know, this fragrance is revolving around the note of rhubarb. So I will give you the notes here. Some of the main notes from Lacoste Lhomme Intense are rhubarb, ginger, vanilla, and cedar. There's also amberwood, almost like an ambery and ambroxan feel to this fragrance, but it's very unique. When you first spray it on, you need to get used to it. When I first sprayed it on, I was like, what's the hype about? But it took me about 10 minutes, unlike some people who, when they talk about it, they're just like, that's basic, blah, blah, blah. It doesn't get talked about enough, which is why I feel it's underrated. Most of the people that I've either sent this to or I know that have tried it, they love it. So that rhubarb comes in. You also do get some ginger to give it even more of like a sweet crispiness. And then that ambroxan or amberwood is giving it an ambroxan woody feel. Is floating through the entire fragrance, giving it almost this fizziness But the note of rhubarb, don't get me wrong, rhubarb is the main note in this fragrance from opening until the dry down. You do get some woody notes when you get to the dry down, as well as a little bit of an amber resinous feel. And then you also do get this nice creamy vanilla that comes in. But again, those are all just background notes that are supporting this note of rhubarb going through the fragrance. It's very unique because rhubarb is not used in many fragrances, and when it is, it's usually not done very well. In this one, it comes across sweet, deep, dark, fruity, but also has this touch of a fruitiness that you don't normally get in other fruity fragrances. And that's why I like this, is because it's unique. You will not smell like anybody else, and I feel it is highly underrated. While it doesn't last a crazy amount of time, I get about 5 to 6 hours. Still, for this type of fragrance, I think it's definitely worth putting in your random pulls, even in your collection, because it's worth about 25 bucks. That's what you pay for it, and you're definitely getting that from what you're paying for. You definitely get it out of there. So moving on to one that is for more of the fall and winter. While that one was more for the spring and summer, this one's for fall and winter. I've talked about this on my channel before, but compared to the other one in the line, Spicebomb Extreme, this one isn't talked about enough. And from what I'm understanding is it's getting phased out, but I don't know that for sure. This is by Viktor and Rolf. It is Spicebomb Infrared. So Spicebomb Infrared is a fragrance that is probably one of my favorite top 5 fragrances out there, no matter what season it is. A lot of people don't talk about it, and when they do, they always say that Spicebomb Infrared or Spicebomb Extreme is better, especially the reviewers I've heard that from. A lot of people say this was kind of like a mixture between the original and the Extreme. I completely disagree. This one takes the line and goes off in a completely separate direction. While you do still get that spiciness from the cinnamon, that's pretty much where the differences or the similarities stop. So when you first spray this on, it is the spiciest of all of them. It's almost like some people say like big red gum, but I get a little bit more things going on in there. When you first spray it on, you get cinnamon, you get some red pepper, you get a bunch of different spices all put together, mixing in there to give it this nice cinnamon bomb, as well as you do get a little bit of benzoin in there to give a bit of sweetness, as well as this like red fruit accord that's only there for about 2 to 3 minutes, but in the opening it does have a nice back tone of like a little bit of a red fruitiness. It's a really nice opening, but what I like about this fragrance is after about 15 minutes, that spiciness does tone down a lot, and it's like a tale of two fragrances. You get the opening, which is that spice bomb, but then you get this dry down that is that cinnamon, vanilla, creaminess all mixed together. You also get like a bit of this stickiness from the benzoin. Again, you get some vanilla coming in there. It really does feel real nice, creamy, slightly spicy, but also it's almost like you're cuddling fragrance. The first part of the fragrance is like a room filler. People could smell you for across the room. But then after that 15 minutes, while it still does project very nicely, it turns into more of a sensual fragrance because it's creamy vanilla with a slight bit of cinnamon. It's almost like a sensual warm pie. But I really do like Spicebomb Infrared. It's my favorite in the line. I think it's vastly underrated. And if you're looking for a nice, spicy yet sweet fragrance that is for the winter or fall, that would be a great pickup, especially at the prices that it's going for now. On Nordstrom Rack, I think it's like 60 bucks. But just, it's hard to smell off the atomizer, but I know what the smells like. It's one of my favorites, and I definitely recommend you guys picking it up. I get, at least for me, I get about 8 to 10 hours of easy longevity, as well as well above it. I mean, beast mode projection for the first 4 hours. So that is Spicebomb Infrared. So now we're getting into the last one on the list, number 5. Although there was really no order here, I feel like this fragrance is vastly underrated for the same reason as the Acqua Di Gio. All the other fragrances in this line, people look at them as better than this one. But I like this because of the fact that it can be used in a certain situation or a few situations that the other ones really can't be used in. And by Yves Saint Laurent, this is YSL Y Eau de Toilette. So you might be asking yourself why. So let me explain. The YSL Y Eau de Parfum is your sweet, heavy, in-your-face fragrance that is going to be, for some people, headachy, but it's going to get you compliments. It's going to be versatile for all year round, any situation. It's going to last a long time. It's going to project well. You got your YSL Y Le Parfum, which is your date night fragrance. It's going to be refined, mature. It's going to get you noticed, and it's going to be great, more mature. YSL Y Eau Fraiche, your summertime freshie with that lemon, like lemonade feel to it. And then YSL Y Live is like your YSL Y EDP, but smoothened out and also a bit of like a floral fruit in there. This one is what started it all. And the reason why I like it over the other ones, well, I don't like it over it. I like it for certain situations over the other ones. Let me give you the notes for this first. The notes that you get in this are ginger, lavender, aldehydes, and cedar. So it's fresh, it's clean, it's soapy. When you first spray it on, you get that ginger, which gives it that freshness, that soapiness. You also get that lavender. It gives a little bit of a floral feel. But overall, sometimes you just need to tone it down. Whether it be for work, going to the gym, or my favorite time to wear it, going and getting out of the shower. This is the perfect out of the shower scent. It legit is like it was made for it. So you get about 5 hours of projection from this, and from what I understand with the new version of this, you get about 7 to 8 hours. They did reformulate this because there was a note in it that was banned. But with that said, YSL Y Eau de Toilette, it's fresh, it's clean, it's soapy. It can be worn just if you want to smell clean, almost like you just put on a nice soap, but also it smells like fragrant. That is what you're going to get from this, and it's going to project well for the first hour. Not heavily, but it's going to get you noticed. At the same time, it's going to just make you smell great, while also not offending anybody. And that's why this is perfect for work. This is perfect for getting out of the shower, going to the gym, going for a run, whatever it might be. It makes you feel great, and as you could tell, it's one of my favorite fragrances to wear. I got this whenever this one was going, I think it was 3 months ago, and so in 3 months, I almost ran out of the whole bottle. But YSL Y Eau de Toilette, it is vastly overlooked because of the other ones in the line. But again, if you're looking for something, even if you get a smaller bottle like this, if you're looking for something that just leaves you smelling clean, and women do love it, then YSL Y EDT is the one to go with. But again, those are my 5: Valentino Yellow Dream, Acqua Di Gio Absolu, Lacoste Lhomme Intense, Spicebomb Infrared, and YSL Y Eau de Toilette. While there are other ones that are really just underrated, there are also ones that are overrated, which I think I'll do a list at some point about that. Let me know in the comments below which ones that you guys think are underrated. Again, these are just 5 that I pulled off my shelf. I do have other ones that are. Let me know in the comments which ones that you guys think are the best or most underrated fragrances out there. And I really appreciate it. Remember to like, comment, subscribe, and I'll be back with another one. Peace.